Hey Vincent!
Hello.
Congrats on the webinar!
Thank you.
I heard you have been working with an interesting project recently.
Yeah.
Can I ask you some questions about it?
Sure, why not?
Right. Can you share with me what problems did the client face?
Oh, problems? No, actually the client had very aggressive growth plans. They had a strategic planning session some 3 months ago and they had plans for the next 3-5 years. So one of the key things that they felt was very challenging was the departure of good people, both at the leadership team level and also among staff members. In the exit interviews, many of them have cited presence of silo mentality, people feeling that they are disrespected. And on top of things, when things go wrong, there's a lot of blame. So upon further investigation, the CEO and the board of directors actually found out that this is really a cultural problem in the organization.
How long has your team worked on this?
About 1.5 years now.
Would you consider this as one of the more challenging projects?
I wouldn't say so. A lot of our clients going through business change typically experience these challenges.
What type of interventions did your team put in place for them?
The first thing that we did was to align the leadership team. And on that note, we did one-to-one sessions with them just to ensure that we hear everybody's perspectives about the team, about the organization, about the way they work. We then brought them together to have numerous team dialogues, including refreshing of the strategy going forward, the structure to support that, and more importantly, the role expectations of one another. With that in mind, the next step was really to engage the rest of the organization through numerous staff engagement sessions and also leadership coaching, so much so to ensure that leaders at every level play their role well.
Oh, that's really interesting. I'd love to know more about it. What were the outcomes of our engagement with this client?
We actually measured it from 3 perspectives. The first being the fact that the board of directors finally, after 1.5 years, allowed the leadership team to restructure the organization, where in the past they didn't because the leadership team couldn't get their acts right. Number 2, we measured something called entropy in a culture survey, and that measures the level of dysfunction in an organization. The higher the percentage, the more dysfunction there is. So when it was first measured at the beginning of the journey, it was 57%. 1.5 years later, it was 25%. Not perfect yet, but certainly improving. Last but not least, psychological safety. Judging from the feedback from the staff across all levels, people were more willing to speak up, challenge one another, try new things, and hold one another accountable.
Wow, 57% to 25% is a huge jump, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed, yeah. But as I said, a good percentage would be 0 to 10%, where we consider that as being healthy. Yeah.
Okay. Vincent, what advice do you have for leaders of organizations undergoing transformation?
Wow, that's a big question. I need a whole day for that. I'll summarize the lessons in 3 key points. First, organization transformation must start at the leadership team. It is indeed worth the effort and time to check in on the team health, how the leaders themselves view one another, whether they view each other positively and willing to work together as a team, or there are things that hold them back. Number 2, identify inhibitors and promoters within the organization. On this front, it is important not to jump to conclusions. For example, in this case, clearly there was silo mentality within the organization. It was very easy for the leadership team to pinpoint the error on the structure itself, and therefore initially they called for restructuring. But clearly restructuring was not the answer then. Number 3, as this is part of a long-term journey, culture building, it is important to review, in this case, regularly and ensure that people's voices are heard throughout and be able to adapt and adjust accordingly.